This is Dr. Mark Hitchcock here at Faith Bible Church in Edmond, Oklahoma with another episode of Marking the Times, where we want to answer your questions that you have about end-time prophecy, really other topics as well, and also kind of periodically give a prophecy update. We just got back, my wife and I and 45 other people from Israel last Friday evening. We had a great trip over there. It was great weather and wonderful to be there, and it was my fifth time to visit the land of Israel, the Holy Land. But it was my first time to visit there with Jerusalem as the official capital of the land of Israel. Obviously back on December 6th, President Trump said that the United States would be moving our embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. So it was an exciting time to be there with that going on. I think that's going to take place probably in May. Also this May 14th will be the 70th anniversary of the reestablishment or the establishment of the modern state of Israel. So it was an exciting time to be there. And I'll probably be given a little bit more information about our trip. Some of the videos, I filmed some videos on site there, and some of those videos will be on my website here, should be up before long. So you can get on the website at marklhitchcock.com and look at those. Also, if you want to go to Facebook, on Facebook you can send questions that you have, and I'll try to answer those. Again, I may not get to those every time the week after you send it in, but I'll try to get to those along the way. Some people sent me some questions after I talked a few weeks ago about Isaiah 17, which talks about the destruction of Damascus. Several people sent me follow-up questions to that, kind of questioning the view that I have. And again, I'll just rehearse that for just a moment. Isaiah 17 talks about Damascus being removed from being a city. And a lot of people see that as a future prophecy. It's future to today even. Obviously, Isaiah writes this back in the 8th century BC. But a lot of people think this is a future prophecy where Damascus will be destroyed. And again, just about a week or so ago, I was up there right on the border in the Golan Heights in Israel, looking over into Syria. And when you're there, Damascus is only about 20 miles away. And there's certainly a lot of things happening over there in that part of the world today in Syria with the ongoing civil war there. But when it says in Isaiah 17:1 that Damascus is about to be removed from being a city, it doesn't say it's going to be removed from being a city forever. And back in 732 BC, Damascus was destroyed by the Assyrians. And again, I mentioned this before, but let me just reiterate this for those of you who kind of take exception to my view. The verse right before Isaiah 17 verse 1 that talks about Damascus says, "But now the Lord speaks, saying, within 3 years, as a hired man would count them, the glory of Moab will be degraded. Along with all his great population, his remnant will be very small and impotent." Then it talks about the destruction of Damascus. Now, obviously, that's a near prophecy because he says in 3 years, Moab, which is in the modern nation of Jordan, is going to be destroyed. And then, as I mentioned before, at the end of Isaiah 17, you have a reference to the destruction of the 185,000 Assyrians in 701 BC during the time of Hezekiah. So you have the destruction of Damascus in Isaiah 17, 1, 2, and 3 there, between a passage that talks about in 3 years Moab's going to be destroyed, and 701 BC when the Assyrian army was destroyed. So it just seems odd to me you'd have a far future prophecy bracketed by two events that were on the near horizon when Isaiah wrote this. So again, some of you here may still have the view that, look, this is looking to a future end-time destruction of Damascus. And certainly that's possible. That view is certainly possible, but I just wanted to reiterate again why I believe this is was a near prophecy in Isaiah's day, because I got a lot of questions about that. So hopefully that'll kind of answer that question. Again, if you disagree with me on that, that's fine. You can take this as a future prophecy that will be fulfilled in the end times. But again, if you take the view I take, then we really don't know what happens specifically to Syria, but we can be sure Syria is part of the complex or the matrix of events in the end times. And what's happening over there today in Syria with this horrible ongoing civil war, with Russia being involved there, Iran being there, Turkey now has been involved in the northern part of Syria. Those are a lot of the nations that are mentioned as key players in end-time prophecy. So I think what's happening in Syria today really does have implications for events that will happen in the future. I just don't think that one of those events is Isaiah chapter 17. We'll hope to get to some more questions next week, and maybe a little more information about our trip to Israel, and some more updates about prophecy, but we'll leave that for next time. Thanks again for joining us.